Well, the Asian Cricket Championships do start what is a tremendous run of sporting events being held around the UAE and also the Middle East. None bigger than the FIFA World Cup in Qatar for 2022. And for many people who are still trying to get tickets or they're worrying about how the entry tourist visa works, joining us via Zoom is Alan Holt. He is the Managing Director of Official Hospitality for the UAE at Expat Sport, and he's joining us on Talk 100.3. Thanks very much for your time this afternoon, Alan.
You're welcome, guys. Good afternoon.
Fantastic. I mean, there is as much excitement as it could be in this part of the world, considering the fact that we are probably the happy neighbours of Qatar that's hosting the FIFA World Cup.
Yeah, and I think the excitement's going to build from here on in. It's always the case. Every World Cup, the closer you get to the tournament, the wave of excitement and euphoria begins. Especially when they've got the international breaks coming up, which always then, and when the teams start selecting the squads, there's more media,
right,
more exposure, and then of course once the games start, then everybody wants to be over in Qatar for the games.
Yeah, I'm a kit nerd. I always love when the countries announce their kits, and I know there's some being leaked out and some rumoured jerseys coming out. But for someone like me, Alan, I've got my tickets to the game. I'm an Australian, so I've got one of Australia's pool games versus Tunisia. What is the impact of this new hire card for someone who's wanting to get that, the match day tickets to flying in and fly out? How does this process work?
Well, first of all, well done on getting tickets to that game. I would imagine that they would have been well sought after.
Yeah, yes. Yeah. Oh, it's got to be a packed house. Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, what was your question again?
Yeah, sorry. For the packed stadium that it is going to be Australia Tunisia, for when everyone is heading there from Dubai, what is the impact of the new hire card, this new visa announcement?
Well, I mean, the impact of that the new visa, the hire cards and the visas are kind of, slightly two separate things. But the new multi-entry visa for the UAE obviously makes it easier for people from around the world to come to the UAE to be based. In terms of the hire card, anybody entering Qatar will need a hire card. So from your point of view of going to that game, it's very simple because you're based here anyway. So it's just a matter of you have a match ticket. So apply for your hire card is a simple process.
Perfect. So now, for someone like me, I'm from India, and India is not there, so I'm not going to Qatar, and I'm definitely not supporting my friend here, the Aussie boy. So I'll be here in Dubai, and watching games at probably some of the screening places or some fan lounges. What is it for someone who is going to be based here? How can we experience the FIFA World Cup?
Well, as we know, there's some fan parks already been announced, such as the McGettigans. DIFC are doing an upmarket fan park as well. We ourselves, we're partnering with the NH Dubai, the Palm,
right.
And along with Budweiser, creating a fan park there. And we're going to have lots of different activations taking place, competition, prizes, activations on the beach. So, and that's just what's been announced at the moment. And I'm sure there's other things that will also be announced, and there will be this area with there having so many nationalities.
Right.
It will be buzzing with the different fans.
For anyone who still wants to get to a game, what is available in terms of availability for packages? I mean, I know that Australia-Tunisia game would have been the first one sold out when it came to hospitality deals.
Very lucky.
Yeah, so I was amazed. I'm lucky to get tickets. What have been the most popular packages so far when it comes to wanting to get tickets to certain matches or teams?
Well, for us, I mean, we have a lot of corporate customers, so they're always interested in the finals. They want the ultimate ticket, and the FIFA World Cup final is, let's face it, the ultimate ticket in sport. So that the finals of any major tournament are always very popular. But in particular, in Qatar, the finals is still available. But some categories are sold out. There's different types of hospitality. The high end, the Pearl Lounges, at the moment, that's sold out. But we can still get business seat, which is the next layer down, and also one of the entry-level hospitality requirements.
Can you give us a rough guide for what one of those tickets would cost?
Yeah, for a general ticket, if you're going to like the Australia game, hospitality. So
hospitality,
just to point out, we only offer hospitality. There are general tickets that you get through FIFA directly. So the hospitality comes with 3 hours of hospitality before the match and 1 hour after. And the entry level is $950 for what's called a match club. And that for the group stages. As you progress throughout the tournament and get towards the finals, then they become more expensive, as you would imagine. For the final, that comes packaged with a ticket to the semi-final as well.
Okay.
So those two games, it's $6,700 for both matches, both including hospitality as well, which really for a semi-final final, to the FIFA World Cup, it's as we all know, major sporting events aren't the same price as going to see a normal game. So particularly when you've got all the hospitality included.
No, that considering how many people would want to go, that actually seems quite reasonable. The price.
No, absolutely. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, I mean, of course, you got low price options. For example, our quarterfinal package has been very, very popular because you've got the 8 best teams in the world taking place, and it's over only 2 days, which is a weekend in the UAE. So that's been very popular with our corporate clients. And the tickets for that are $1,550. So therefore you could be watching, for example, we've focused on games that were guaranteed. You will see England and Argentina or Argentina if they qualify either first or second in their group. We know that you will definitely get to see those games.
Right.
And again, as I mentioned, for a corporate, if you've got whoever qualifies, you will have customers you want to entertain from those regions, whether it be England, Argentina, Australia potentially.
Makes sense.
So you can still. Yeah, it's as I mentioned, there's so many nationalities living here that there's always somebody who will want to attend one of those games.
Now, for someone who is looking to get the flights, what do you think is the most important part for both the inbound and the outbound UAE residents in terms of trying to get there? For example, the match I'm going to see is at 1:00, and I'm looking at getting the match day ticket. What time should I be flying out here from the UAE? Like a 9:00 flight? What do you think? What's the process going to be?
Yes, it's a very good question, and that's dependent on what kind of ticket you have. For example, I mentioned our hospitality tickets. You have hospitality 3 hours before, so of course you're paying for that. So you want to make sure you get to enjoy that experience. So I would recommend that people got there well in advance because there's always places you can go to, even if you don't have a hospitality ticket.
Yeah.
For example, I know Budweiser are going to have fan parks in hotels close to the venues. So I would suggest you get there as early as you can. You can go and watch the other games if you're going to the first game at 1:00, so that's fine. So you definitely want to go there earlier. But even if you're going to a 4:00, 7:00, 10:00 game, I would suggest you get there first thing in the morning, enjoy the atmosphere, watch some of the other games at one of the fan parks, and then you're there within plenty of time. There's no point in taking any risks. We never know if there's going to be any delays on anything. So, flights can get delayed. So why take that risk? Ourselves, we've committed to thousands of flights already based around, we've diligently went through painfully selecting allowing for what you just said, how long do we need to get to venues, etc. And we're allowing at least 6 hours. We're allowing 6 hours in between when our flights land and when the game starts.
All right.
Is what we. And afterwards is also important. Afterwards, so much. If you happen to miss your flight or you're going to be late, you can. Depends on who you're booked with and what arrangements you have. But our flights, we have an arrangement where you can change your flight for $50 with Fly Dubai, and I believe Qatar Airways have something similar. But that's if you change it within giving some notice. So there is always that option that you can actually get a flight later if you do get delayed.
Yeah, it's
due to availability.
So, but you are you prepared for maybe someone who's flown over for an England game and they've won and they've partied a bit too hard and missed their plane, and then they get to the airport? Is there going to be an opportunity to get the next flight?
There is, but obviously
it's a full fate of you're in the fate of the airline crisis.
Yeah, I guess they may not care too much, especially if their team's won. But and we are expecting some of that, and we're going to cover that in our terms and conditions to make sure that's their responsibility.
A very good option.
For our groups, particularly our corporate clients, we're arranging private transfers because we've got access to the venues. So we were taking our customers directly to the venues and parking and waiting there for them. So we'll be doing a little bit of hand-holding. For individual people who are just booked the day shuttle flights, then, and if they're using the government transport, then obviously that they're kind of more independent travellers, and that's their own responsibility to make sure they get to the game and back. If we've arranged their transports privately, then obviously we have a team on the ground that will be giving them along to make sure they get onto their transport. We'll be very clear with them what time that transport's leaving, and it's their responsibility to get there in time.
Makes sense. But then if there's someone who says, listen, I probably would want to just stay the night and explore Doha or some other cities in Qatar, are there some availabilities or options for those people as well?
Yeah, absolutely. And most of our packages we have sold as 2-night packages.
All right.
So you get. So the idea is you get there the day before the game. You enjoy yourself, watch a game on TV at the fan parks, and go and do an excursion or anything you want to do if you want to see a bit of Qatar. Then get up the next day on match day, the big build up. Depending on what time your game is. But you're at least there. You're in the city already, and don't have any risk of travelling there the same day. So yeah. That is what, in particular, our quarterfinals, we secured thousands of rooms and flights for the quarterfinal package, and we still do have significant rooms available for that quarterfinal package for 2 nights. The group stages, we've sold a vast majority of our accommodation already.
All right.
But we can still get accommodation on an adult basis. But that's all down to subject to, as you say, to availability.
Yeah, and it's a great idea because sometimes the quarterfinals end up being the better matches.
True.
With extra time and penalty shootouts without people being conservative to the later rounds.
That's right.
I think that's the right idea to get to go there for the weekend and see some of the quarterfinals.
Yeah. But generally, people wake up to the quarterfinals like I did in Russia. In fact, the semi-finals. Once England qualified for the semi-finals, I quickly flew over, paid a premium to get there to watch England in the semi-finals. Well, we're lucky that it's so close to us here. So most people do normally wait until later to see how their team are progressing in the quarterfinals. But what we find at this tournament, particularly from our corporate clients, as I mentioned, is that they're keen to purchase them now because it's great value as well.
Yeah,
compared to finals. Finals, is priced accordingly. So if people are on a bit more of a budget, the quarterfinals, we liked it so much that we secured all our rooms. We're even chartering our own aircraft for that match.
Oh wow!
When it comes to previous World Cups, has this been more or less popular than previous World Cups for tickets for people from?
Sorry to quit.
No,
I got the question, which is the feedback we've been getting is that it's the more ticket sales than any other World Cup. This was a few months ago, last time I got the information at that point. So I don't know if that's changed in the last few months or not. From our point of view as a business, this is like no other event we've ever been involved in. I would say this is 50 times minimum. We've done 50 times more turnover for this event than any other event we've ever worked on.
Wow.
Whether it be rugby, cricket, or football. It has exceeded all our expectations at the beginning.
Well, that's great to hear because there have been certainly so many people claiming this is not going to be a real World Cup, given it's not a known footballing nation. But I guess the statistics and the ticket sales will show that it's quite the opposite. Alan, I know you've got a very, very busy couple of months coming up, and so we wish you the best of luck, and thank you very much for joining us this afternoon on Talk 100.3.
Pleasure. Enjoyed it. Thank you, guys.
Thank
you.
All
the best.
Wonderful. Thanks a lot. There was the Managing Director for Expat Sport, Alan Holt, who was running the official hospitality program for the FIFA World Cup in Qatar for 2022. And isn't that exciting to hear that it's just been as popular or even more popular than previous World Cups when people have said, well, it's not in Germany or it's not being played in Italy or in a football nation. But the support and the interest is still there.
Multiple reasons, if I can try and gauge from what we've seen. One, obviously, it's happening during the winter months.
Yeah.
Winter months in Europe, England, they generally too cold for them to go out. When you come here to Qatar, this is pleasant time. Okay, the weather is going to be amazing. You come to Qatar, chill, watch your games, and come to Dubai. So you're basically getting to do your little holidays as well. Apart from that, this is one of the biggest tournament that's come in after 2 years of COVID. People would have saved, wouldn't have traveled, and now want to go out. And hey, when you have a FIFA World Cup around the corner, why not plan your holidays accordingly? I think that could be the reason, yeah.
And it doesn't eat into people's European holidays.
Exactly.
And if you're in Europe, it's a chance to come out for a long weekend, get some sun, see 2 or 3 games and go home. So, yeah, it's going to be very, very interesting, and we'll keep you updated here.